Good morning. It's Tuesday, December 1st. And today I want to talk about the Iranian nuclear deal and the assassination of their leading nuclear scientist, whose name I can't pronounce. His first name seems to be Mohsen, but I can't pronounce the second name, so I'm not going to bother. Now, I was always against the Iranian nuclear deal from day one. I saw no reason why we should give them 10 years and then they could develop a nuclear bomb if they wanted to. They should never, ever be allowed to get a nuclear bomb. That's my position on it. There's no reason in the world why they should have a nuclear weapon. They are a threat to the rest of the Middle East, and they let everybody know they're a threat. And they support many, what shall I call it, terror groups. I'll call them terrorists, like Hamas and Hezbollah. And half of the fighting in the world is caused by them. So I was glad this guy is assassinated. And I'm trying to look forward. And I'm thinking about what is Biden going to do. And people are saying we're going to try to get back into this nuclear deal. Well, maybe we should get back into the nuclear deal. But we can't get back into the nuclear deal under the previous conditions. Iran can never be allowed to have a nuclear weapon. And Iran, if we go back into that deal, Iran must be inspected constantly and without warning. We should just be able to swoop down and inspect, not have to ask permission to come and inspect. And then they tell you, come back in 6 months when we'll be ready to show you an empty room. And I don't know who assassinated their leading scientist. I don't know who assassinated him. They claim Israel assassinated him. And if the Israelis did it, I applaud them for it. It's an act of self-defense in their case. They are surrounded by enemies. It's true that they have made peace with a region of Islamic countries, the United Arab Emirates and Bahrain and others in what they call the Gulf states. But Iran is lurking out there. Iran is an enemy to all of those things. And so if Israel was clever enough to assassinate this person, this leading scientist, that's good. That's good. And Israel should be on their guard constantly, which they are. And there's no reason why they should be hated in that region. Just because they got a little country the size of New Jersey, they are the enemy of Islam. For years, the Jews and the Islamic peoples got along very well. But times changed. So now, if Biden goes back into this deal, what should he be looking for? What should the world be looking for? What do our allies think about this? These are all questions that have to be answered. I don't know who has a good answer. All I know is that the Iranian government is liars. They lie worse than President Trump. In all the time this deal was being set up, they swore that they were going to have peaceful nuclear power. It was only for electricity and whatever peaceful needs they had, they would use nuclear power for. And now it turns out, after this assassination, they have threatened the world that they're going to accelerate their program to produce a nuclear weapon. They're going to mass produce more and more nuclear material so that they can build more and more bombs. So they went pretty quickly from a country that only wanted peaceful nuclear power to a country that is prepared to produce weapons. And maybe it was okay. It would be okay if they had a weapon, except you can't trust them. They'd give the weapon to some terrorist group. They give Hezbollah a weapon, or they give Hamas a weapon. That's the problem in that part of the world. And the problem is that Iran fosters and pays and takes care of those rebel groups. So there's no way in hell that I could possibly think of that I would be happy with us going into any kind of nuclear deal with those people without the strictest of standards that they had to be held to. I would not feel safe sleeping at night with those people having a bomb. I mean, look at what they're doing in that part of the region. They support Assad. For years they're supporting Assad. And they're in cahoots with the Russians also. So it's an ugly situation. It's totally confusing to people. And at the center of it are our people, the Jews, who have the most to lose. And nobody who has any brains would not believe that Israel assassinated this guy. But as usual, they don't say anything. They remain stum, which is the proper approach. I don't know if they assassinated him, but the stories about the assassination are crazy. They remotely assassinated him. Meanwhile, the other reports came out, said there were 5 or 6 guys shooting bullets at him. That doesn't sound like a remote assassination to me. Anyhow, Biden is in a tight spot with this situation, and I don't know how he's going to react, but I suspect he will get good advice from his people because his team is top-notch. So I leave you with that. The world continues to be a mess, and we're one of the big players in the world, and it's time for us to get back into the game. So have a good day, and I'll talk to you in the morning. Bye.